Morning, everybody. All week this week, we're going to focus on getting listings. We're going to focus on mastering your listing presentation. How's that? Is that a good thing?
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think one of the reasons why this is so important is because when you are lead generating, and most of the time that's what we focus on in here during Mastering the Conversations of Real Estate, is we focus on mastering those lead generation conversations. However, if we started with the end in mind, before you master the conversations of lead generation, you want to master your listing presentation so that you have confidence to ask for a listing presentation or a listing appointment. Otherwise, you get the appointment, now what? And you can go on a listing appointment that is a come list me and not have a great listing presentation and still get the listing. But then again, if you're going on an appointment where you're competing against other agents, it's important to have this mastered, right? Cool. All right. Pardon me? Good. All right. And for those of you who are on Zoom, good morning. Welcome. Hi, Paige. Paige is the only one on Zoom who has her camera on. So I'm going to say hi to Paige and ignore the rest of you. Turn your camera on. And I'm going to do a lot of teaching, if it's okay this week, more than role play. Permission? Good. Get ready to take notes. All right. So hold on a second. Okay, we're good. 3 things that every seller is asking themselves about you when you go on a listing appointment. And these are the 3 questions that you have to answer in order to get the listing. Number 1, can I trust you? Number 2, do you care about me? And number 3, do you know what you're doing? Now, just out of curiosity, out of those 3 things, can I trust you? Do you know what you're doing? Oh, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And do you know what you're doing? Which of those 3 do you believe is the most important? Can I trust you? 100%. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Good morning, Ryan. Do you care about me as a close second? And the least important of the 3 is, do you know what you're doing? Now, if I'm a new real estate agent, or if I'm competing against somebody who's been in the business for many years and I've been in the business for a year, do they have an advantage over me? Say no. No, they don't. Because do they know more than you do? Well, they should, but that doesn't mean that they do. But even if they do know more than you, even if their resume is more impressive, you can do a better job of conveying, Aaron, I care about you and you can trust me. Win that battle, win the listing. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So let's start with greeting them at the door. And during my 14-point listing presentation, this is called your Kodak moment, right? All right. Take lots of notes. Like I said earlier, good morning, sir. Like I said earlier, this is more of a teaching week than it is a role play week. And everybody in the class who had a vote said, cool. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Kodak moment. Arrive on time. If your appointment is at 4 o'clock, you're going to park your car in the street at 3:50, gather your things, ready to knock on the front door at 4 p.m. exactly. Not at 4:05, not 4:10. You're late if it's 4:05. Now, when Diane answers the door, hi, Diane. My name is John Dietz. We had an appointment for 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. May I come in? Cool. Diane, loud enough so people in Zoom world can hear you.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you. All right. So the moment I walk in the door, by the way, I know it's hard on camera, but I'm going to be dressed professional. I'm not showing up in jeans. I'm not showing up casual. I am dressed professional. This is my Kodak moment. I have 10 seconds to make a great first impression. Now, I've got a backpack over my shoulder and hold on a second, guys. Okay. I've got a backpack over my shoulder and a business card in my hand. That's it. Everything I need in order to go on this appointment is in the backpack, including Hold on a second. Including a notebook and pens to take notes. This can be in your hand as well, by the way. And when Diane answers the door, hi, Diane, my name is John Dietz. We had an appointment at 4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. May I come in?
Yes.
Cool. The moment I walk in the door, I'm going to hand Diane my business card. And wow, that's your very next word. If you're practicing your scripts, write it down. Your next word is wow. You have a beautiful home, and I am really excited to be here. Now, before I go any further, would you like me to take off my shoes? Yes, it's part of your script. Write it down. Do I care? Remember the 3 questions the seller is asking. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Do you know what you're doing? If I walk in the door and I just blow right by you and I start looking at your house and I don't even stop and acknowledge the fact that I'm grateful to be there, nor do I ask you, would you like me to take off my shoes? I just go for a walk and start tracking dirt through your house. Do I care about you, Diane? No, you've already lost. By the way, that's what your competition is doing. So the very first thing is I'm going to lead with gratitude. Wow, I am so excited to be here, Diane. Thank you for this opportunity. Before I go any further, would you like me to take off my shoes? Now, Diane says, yes, my shoes are going off and I'm leaving them right there by the front door. By the way, when you leave the house that morning, remember that you're going on a listing appointment, which means you're going to be taking your shoes off. So don't walk out the door with holy socks, because that's what they're going to remember. You're the guy with the toes sticking out of your socks. Yes, there you go. Diane says pedicures. I agree. Maybe I should put that on my schedule. Okay, I'm wearing socks. Diane, I'd love to set my things down at the kitchen table. And then I'm going to ask you if you would take me on a tour of your home. Now, why the kitchen table, guys? That's, Ryan says that's where business is done. And that's absolutely the right answer. Don't ask them, where would you like to sit? Because they may lead you to the living room and have you sit on a couch and they're sitting across the room on the other side. You've already lost. Ryan, yes. What if it's a vacant house? Yeah. So first of all, that's not going to happen a lot. Ideally, there's a table and chairs there for you to sit down, right? And if there's not tables and chairs, I'm still going to the kitchen and we're going to stand at the kitchen counter. Right? Cool. All right. So I'm going to set my things down at the kitchen table, not on the kitchen table. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? Do you know what you're doing? I'm going to set my things down on the floor next to the kitchen table. I've got my notebook and pens ready to go. And cool. Diane, so as the next thing I would love for you to do is take me on a tour of your home. If you would, pretend I'm a buyer and show me your home just like you would if I were a buyer. Now, if they're thinking of selling their home, by owner, why would I ask them to take me on a tour of their home? Say it again, Aaron. No, let me ask the question again. If you're thinking of selling your home by owner, why would I ask you to take me on a tour of your home and show me your home just like you would if I were a buyer? Okay, so if you don't know the answer, it's cool. Here's the answer. I want them to self-discover this is not going to be as easy as they think it is. As they're touring me, taking me on a tour of their home, showing me their property, just like they would if they were a buyer, they're going to walk into the kitchen and go, yep, and this is the kitchen, and that's my, and I'm going to go, your refrigerator? And they're like, oh yeah, that's my refrigerator. Not as easy as they think it's going to be. And I want them to discover that showing their home is not as easy as they think it's going to be. Simple, but it works. Okay, so Diane, if you would, take me on a tour of your home, pretend that I'm a buyer, show me your home just like you would if I were a buyer. I'm going to ask lots of questions and I'm going to take notes. Now, in real life, I'm pointing at my notebook and telling Diane, I'm going to take lots of notes because this is the information that I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Now, as you tour the home, Aaron, and you're taking notes, take notes out loud. Here's what I mean by that. Beautifully updated kitchen, granite countertops, maple cabinets, stainless steel appliances, travertine floors, vaulted ceilings, crown molding, new windows. I'm writing down what I'm saying. I've been on lots and lots of appointments, thousands. And I've had homeowners tell me, John, so-and-so came out to see my house. They didn't write one thing down. How are they going to sell my home? Remember the 3 questions that every homeowner is asking themselves. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? Do you know what you're doing? Now, if I just blow through your house and I don't write anything down and I don't take any notes, Jonathan, do I care about you?
No.
Can you trust me? No. So I'm writing everything down and I'm asking questions. You know, Diane, how long have you lived in your house? How old is the roof? How the windows look like they've been replaced? When did you replace the windows? Are they impact windows? You have a 4,000 square foot home. That's a big house. How many AC units are you on? How old is your, are each of those AC units? Because if I have 2 AC units, I might have replaced them at the same time, but then again, maybe I didn't. And I'm asking questions that a buyer would ask. If I don't ask these questions, then I don't have the answers. Now, if I don't have the answers and a buyer asked me, I'm on a tour now, I've got this listing and I'm taking a buyer for a tour of the house. And the buyer asked, how old is the roof? And I didn't ask and I don't know. My response is, I have no idea. Do I care about you? Can you trust me? Say no. So I'm asking questions that a buyer would ask. Does this make sense? Okay. All right, so we're touring the house. I'm asking questions. I'm taking lots of notes. The next thing I want you to write down is like their house. Only good stuff. This is not your job. This is not your opportunity to walk through the house and start staging their home. This is not your opportunity to walk through the house and start telling them everything they need to do in order to get their home sold. Billy Bob with Ego Realty walks into, that's funny, you're supposed to laugh. Billy Bob with Ego Realty walks into Ego Realty, walks into the kitchen and goes, purple wallpaper? Seriously? What were you thinking? That's got to go. Shag carpeting? What'd you do? Put the carpet in the 70s? That's got to go. Real life, this happens, right? This is your job and your opportunity to like their house. Now, one of the questions that I get when I'm teaching my 14-point listing presentation is, what if the house is not awesome? What if it needs lots of work? So Ryan, here's the answer to that question. Everything's a script, don't forget. So Ryan, as we're touring your home, what I'd love for you to do is point out everything that you love about your home. I'd also like for you to point out all of the updates that you've made. Now, the next thing that I would like you to do is point out the updates that you would make next if you weren't selling your home. Now, Clarissa, good morning. Now the seller is telling you what they need to do in order to get their property in mint showing condition. Yes or yes? It's okay if the seller says that purple wallpaper has got to go. It's not okay if you say it. Now, Aaron asked, is it okay if you agree? It depends. My response would be, I agree. And that's it. Not, holy cow, I'm so glad you said that because I was thinking that's awful. Even if they tell you they hate it, don't say, yeah, I hate it too. Now, if you walk into a room and they ask you, Aaron, I was thinking of painting this room. What are your thoughts? Script. This is going to be the easiest script you've ever learned. It's 2 words. I would. That's it. I would. Tour everything. Don't shortcut this. Learn from my mistakes. I've been on over 20 listing appointments every single month for 15 years. So you could do the math. That's a lot of houses I've looked at. And it got to a point where it wasn't so much fun for me. Matter of fact, it could be boring. And oh my gosh, if I have to look at another 4-bedroom house with 3 baths and a pool overlooking a lake, act like it's the very first time you've ever gone on an appointment every single time. Go outside, walk the yard, look at the roof, ask questions. If it backs to water and it's boatable water, in other words, there's boats on the canal, right? Ask, how large of a boat can I put on the canal? Are there any fixed bridges that I need to go under? It makes a difference. There's a big difference in a house that's being sold that has unlimited direct access to the Atlantic Ocean. You know, 5 years in Coral Springs, I'm finally saying not the Gulf of Mexico, right? Because for the first 3 years, I would say if it has direct access to the Gulf of Mexico, which if you find a home in South Florida that has direct access to the Gulf of Mexico, let me know about it. All right. Big difference in selling the house, big difference in value. Ask. They care about that grapefruit tree. You're thinking, I'd pull that up. I hate fruit trees. They're just campsites for rats. And if you've never heard of fruit rats, okay, there we go. You guys aren't laughing at me this morning. It's just good stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. So if Aaron, when you buy a house, if it has fruit trees, make sure you keep the fruit trees away from the roof because that's how rats get in your attic. Okay, this is live Facebook. Somebody's going to have something to say about that. Right? Well, it's fact. Okay, so they care about that grapefruit tree, and they're going to talk about, oh, I just planted 5 new fruit trees. This one's a grapefruit tree. This one's an orange tree. This one's a tangerine tree. This is a tangelo. Write it all down, because inside your head, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I could really care less. They care. So you care. Like their home. It's a big deal. All right. So you're touring the entire property and you're going with them. Don't do this on your own. Make sure the seller goes with you. This is your opportunity to connect with the seller. Here's how I look at it. When I show up at the front door, Ryan, there's this like wall that's between me and the seller because I'm a salesperson and they're on defense. Now, before this tour is over, wall is down and you and I are partners. Okay. Also, this is not your opportunity to look for common ground. Oh, you like football? I like football. You like horses? I like horses. You like dogs? I like dogs. Dogs, 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 dogs. It's not your opportunity to do that either. Now, pay attention to those things, but you're a professional real estate agent. You're there to sell their home. You're not there to talk about how much they love dogs. Making sense? Okay, cool. Now, we're going to end up back at the kitchen table. Before you sit down, ask where they would like you to sit. Don't grab a chair and sit down. You might be at Archie Bunker's house and the whole time you're sitting there, the homeowner is thinking, oh my gosh, he's in my chair, he's in my chair, he's in my chair. Real life, it'll happen. If you Google it if you don't know who Archie Bunker is, right? Right? Well, yeah. Or Fred Sanford, you know, he was the same way. I'll send my chair, Weezer. Aaron's looking at me like, who? What? Right? All right, now here's the other thing. You've got two homeowners, husband, wife, wife, partners. You got two people there. Make sure they're seated across the table from you so that you're looking at them. If you have a long 6-foot table and one sits, it's hard to do this on camera, but one sits on one side of the table and one sits on the other side of the table, and I'm looking at Diane, I've got the back of my head to Diane's husband. And you're doing this. You're talking like this. You look like you're at a tennis match. Don't do that. Now, what do you do if they sit down like that? Ask them to move. Diane, would it be okay if I asked you to move over here so I can see both you and your husband at the same time? Script. If there's a large vase of flowers in the middle of the table, I'm going to ask him to move that, Jonathan, because I'm knocking it over. Right? And that's not, you know, how do you like me so far? So would it be okay if we move this? You're in charge. Anybody wait tables when they were younger? Me and Diane. All right, when you're waiting tables, who leads the conversation at the table? The diners or the waiter or waitress? The server. Yeah, 100%. You lead the conversation. Don't let them lead the conversation. You're doing okay so far? All right. If they ask you if you would like something to drink, script, yes, thank you. Always say yes. I want a glass of water in front of me at every listing presentation for a number of reasons. One of them, I might get thirsty. The other one is, if I've been at that table for 45 minutes, Clarissa, and the water's gone, that means I'm talking too much. I'm talking a lot right now because I'm teaching. However, if I'm on a listing appointment, I'm talking very little. Ideally, they're doing all the talking. All I'm going to do is ask questions. All right, begin the conversation. Clarissa and Aaron, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you. Script, always lead with gratitude. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you. It is an honor and a privilege to discuss the possibility of the Dietz team representing someone in the sale of their home. Now, before we get started, I'd love to share my mission statement with you. Would that be okay? Cool. My mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations. Now, because of that mission statement, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of three things typically happen. One of those three things are going to happen today. Either number one, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer and they hire me, which is awesome. The second thing that occasionally happens is they don't hire me, and quite honestly, that's not so awesome. And then the third thing that happens once in a while is I may choose not to represent them in the sale of their home. Aaron, I love that you're mouthing the words right along with me. That is awesome. That's not part of the script, by the way. Good job, young man. So the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose not to represent someone in the sale of their home. Pause. Ryan, why am I pausing? Diane, why am I pausing? Let it hit them. What else? Yes, that's it. Say it again, Ryan. All right, yes, say it again, Ryan. I'm that mom again that has 20 kids and I can't remember anybody's name. I want them to ask me. I really want, why would you choose not to list my house? I want them to say that. Now, if they say that, script, that's a great question. You see, if I meet with someone that has a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. And you see, because I know you're meeting with other real estate agents, you're gonna meet with someone who's gonna tell you anything you wanna hear just to put a sign in your yard. And I'm not that agent. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear in order to get your home sold. And if you have a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed, I'll turn the opportunity down. Fair enough? All right, let's pause. I've got 9:25. Tomorrow morning, we'll pick it up from there. This week, by the way, all listing appointment. And I hope everybody is okay with that. All right. I've got 9:27. I've got 3 minutes for questions or ahas. Talk to me.
What's my expectation? 10% above, 10%, 30%.
So the next part, Ryan asked, remember there's people out there in Zoom world, so talk really loud, okay? Ryan asked, what's an expectation that I would not be able to meet or exceed? That's a great question. So the next step in the listing presentation is called a needs analysis. So where we're going to pick up tomorrow is, now, Ryan, in order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I need to ask you a couple of questions. Would that be okay? Ryan's going to say yes. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so awesome and 10 being awesome, what's one thing that needs to happen in the sale of your home that would cause you to consider the experience a 10? And Ryan says, get my price. I'm going to go deep. What does that look like? I want $500,000 for my home. Why is that important to you? What would that do for you? Now, let's just fast forward to the end of the appointment, and the comparables, Clarissa, say that Ryan's home is going to sell for $425. And he's got his heels dug in. He wants $500,000 for his home. Ryan, remember earlier I shared with you that one of the things that sometimes happens is I choose not to take someone's listing. And remember, it was because if they had a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed, this is one of those times. We're not going to get $500,000 for your home. So I'm going to choose to turn down the opportunity. Can I answer your question?
Yes.
Cool. I want you to work for 2%. No. That's a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed. Okay. All right. Anybody in Zoom, put your little digital hand up if you have a question or a comment. I'm going to make sure that I give all of you an opportunity to talk. Paige, I know you want to talk.
No, I'm actually good. I'm, digesting and taking notes. So.
Okay. Did this help?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want you to, I'm gonna close with this. If you watch me deliver my listing presentation 100 times, it'll be exactly the same every time. Right down to the laugh on the second thing that sometimes happens. The second thing that happens sometimes is they don't hire me. And quite honestly, that's not so good. It's not happening by chance. The whole thing is planned. Every smile, every laugh, every hesitation is part of a listing presentation that is internalized and mastered.
Have you ever been so listing presentation with like a previous client? They ask you like, I have a deja vu, like.
Mm-hmm. So if you go to the doctor more than once, are they going to skip any step of the process because you've been there before? Say no. Are you ever going to walk into the doctor and the doctor is going to say, oh, you've been here 10 times. Just lay on the table and we're going to open you up and start looking around. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody, make it a great day.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.